Welcome to Amoso Real Talk. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your love. Thank you for supporting. I will not stop thanking you. Every time that I get an opportunity to come here, I will still say thank you so much for your love and support. It's amazing and it means so much to us. Industrial Machines Uganda, we bless you. Thank you for sponsoring us. Visit their website www.industrialmachinesuganda.com. Send them an email. Mr. Ikonyat Festus is their country manager. Send him an email at ikonyatfestus@gmail.com. They are located at Dinner Apartments, B4 Plot 133 in Tinda, Kampala, Uganda. For all your manufacturing needs, contact them, visit their website, check out what they are doing, and they can assist you in anything. Inquire from them. They will definitely give you the answers to your questions. On Amoso Real Talk today, you know, when we grow up as girls, as a girl child, we are groomed from childhood. We are told how to behave, how to treat people, how to be humble, how to be a good woman in future. But today, we want to talk about the grooming of the boy child and of what importance it is in his adulthood. We have a guest today, and I would like to welcome him. Welcome to the show, Mr. Jonathan.
Thank you, Amoso.
Yes.
I'm so pleased and humbled to be here again to talk that we discuss on this crucial topic.
Yes.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you for coming around. It's always an honor and a pleasure to have you on the show. Today, our topic of discussion is about the grooming of the boy child, and I found it fit like to invite you to discuss this topic because for the fact that you're also a father of boys, so I believe you know what we are talking about, and as a man yourself, as a boy child yourself. So tell us about the grooming of the boy child. How do you understand it for starters?
Yeah, in this we are going to look at it in two aspects or two dimensions: the physical and the spiritual.
Okay.
Because we cannot separate the physical and the spiritual. Now, look at it in a physical way. The parent has a role to play.
True.
The first rule is that what? What's the first rule? There must be communication between the father
and the son.
Because as the children grow up, they evolve, they change.
Okay.
So the father is supposed to have, constant communication with this boy child to know his needs, his interactions, maybe his friendships. And so, if there be anything, the father will now identify and discuss with this boy. It does not end there. In communicating with this boy child, the father has to help the boy child develop his vision. What is he going to attain in life? What are his objectives? The father has discussed this boy child, his vision, and now not only discussing the vision, but
whose vision?
The boy's vision.
Okay.
Because he has to attain something, he has to achieve something in life. So the father has a role to play, discussing with him. And first of all, identifying the vision and discussing strategies.
How does the father identify the vision of this child?
Now, the child is growing up.
Okay.
As he's growing up, you can identify what the child likes to do. You discuss, you ask him, what do you like to be in future?
And those are the topics that parents run away from. They don't give chance to their children to ask them such questions.
No, they shouldn't run away from it. It's very important. You ask the child, what do you like to be in future? Some will tell you, I like to be a pilot, I like to be a journalist. You now have to guide him in the things that he does, in the things that he hears, in all his thoughts, so that whatever thing he's doing, it should be tilted towards achieving that goal, that vision. You don't understand?
Yes.
Now, it doesn't end there.
Okay.
Discussing that vision with the child does not end there. This child, the values have to be implanted into this child. We are still talking about the physical part of it.
Mm.
Values have to be planted into this child. Now, how are these values implanted in the child? Skills have to be developed. The child goes to school.
Mm.
Particular skills have to be developed into this child.
Mm.
When these skills are developed,
Mm.
this child now will be taught how to be creative. Not only being creative, but this child will be taught how to generate income for himself.
Mm.
When he generates income himself, he will now be able to attain what he wants to attain in life.
How do we do that? Do you mean like, let's say, going to the farm with the parents or stuff like that, or whatever the parents are involved in? We are looking at a child who is growing, a boy child who
Yeah,
is grooming.
going to the farm with the child is not bad.
Mm.
But we are talking about attaining the child's vision.
Mm.
The farm is your vision,
Mm.
but the child has his own vision. So going to the farm with the child, I'm discussing, and yes, I could take him to the farm.
Mm.
I discuss with him.
As you go to the farm.
Yeah, I talk with him, discuss with him, guide him
Mm.
on what to do in life, give him advices, direct him
Mm.
in order to help him attain his vision.
But also, I would like to ask you
Yeah.
on that very point,
Yeah.
guide him
Mm.
and give him values.
Yeah.
Are we talking about a parent who already has values himself? Because what are you giving your child that you don't have? Let's, for example, say boy children who have grown up seeing their parents, fathers, to be precise, beating their mothers. So what kind of values are those?
Yeah. Now also, these values you're talking about, making this child be useful in the society, making this child be productive in the society. This child should grow up in the society to be the one that solves a problem. Not creating a problem, but solving a problem. Meeting the needs of that society. So the skills, particular skills have to be developed in this child. You will not just grow up on a farm or grow up in a family eating food. No. You have to be trained economically. Economically means that what? He has to generate an income where he will know how to manage himself, manage others, and make up his family. That's what we're talking about. So coupled with all the education that he acquired in school. Now we have been talking about the physical part. Now we go back to the spiritual part of it, which is the most important.
Okay.
We now have to train this child. This child has to be drawn closer to God. The child has to be drawn closer to God.
Bring up a child in the ways of the Lord.
Yeah.
That when he grows, he may not depart.
Yeah. The child must know how to walk in discipline. He must know how to walk in love. He must know how to walk in peace. Above all, this child must be implanted or must be established on the foundation of faith. This child must be established on the foundation of faith.
Just right there, I'm like, I want to ask you that, how does, what my point still is, like, what my concern is, this parent who is bringing up this child, I'm talking about the male parent, who is bringing up this child. I believe he should be an example, right?
Yeah.
So because he cannot impact what he doesn't have. So he needs to be exemplary to the children.
Yeah.
So that, let's say, he will say, you will have to work hard to provide for the family, just like you see me doing, to provide for your mother and your siblings, right?
Yeah.
So how about you as parents? Don't you think you need to check yourselves so that you can give us good boys out in the society?
For sure, as a parent, I need to check myself. For sure. It's obvious. I cannot give out what I don't have.
True.
So I need to first of all examine myself. Am I attaining my goals? Where did I fail? And how to correct myself. If I cannot do that, then pride to come in. So I must humble myself, check myself, so that I will give values to my own son. That's the point.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when I look at the boys of today, you look at a boy who is so shy to face responsibility. Yeah?
Yeah.
How don't you think that comes from the grooming?
For sure, also it comes from the grooming. That's why before we started the video, this discussion, we're talking about the physical part and the spiritual part. These two parts have a role to play. They go together. Now let's take a child that maybe he went to the university.
Before university, start from a nursery child.
Let's say he went to he went to primary education.
Yes.
Secondary.
Yes.
Maybe he learned a trade. He went to a vocational institute.
Yes.
He learned a trade. He has come out. That's the physical part. He knows the trade so well. Now, let's say this child studies some business administration or business management. He has all the capital. Because of fear, because of fear and lack of faith, this child may not take action on what he has studied.
I get you.
He may not take action. He'll be asking himself, if I maybe invest this capital and incur losses, what will become of me? He'll ask himself again. You may not have the courage to stand and face his challenges. That's where faith or the spiritual part comes in. If it's implanted in faith, fear will give way. He'll be so courageous. He'll be so bold. And he will take action. Some people, they study, even right at the university, they come out, but they look useless in society.
Why?
They don't act on what they study.
It's not about acting on what you studied. It's about, you mentioned values.
Yeah.
It's about where this child, that's where my problem is. That these boys, the boys of today, every time we have to refer to then the old, why must we always refer that emulate from the old? Because for example, you have a boy child at home. You just allow him to play football. You just allow him to come home anytime he wants. How are you trying to show me that? Because as you talk about university and coming out of school and facing the world in the business world, for example, per se, you're giving me a boy, a man. I want you to give me a boy child who is groomed up into a man. A responsible man. Do you know that even just a boy child studying until he graduates, it's a plus? Because some of them will divert from the middle. But why? Is it that parents have failed?
They have not failed, but they are lax. As we earlier said, they don't communicate with these children. They don't help them develop their vision. They don't implant them, or lead them into the ways of God. And when they don't lead them into the ways of God, anything can happen to this child at any time. We're saying that when these children grow up in a home where they're not being established into the word of God, and they are faced with societal issues, it's very easy for them to join a gang.
Correct.
It's very easy for them to be involved in immorality. But if these children grow up in the ways of God, they will understand that immorality is against God. They will deny it. It will be stamped into their subconscious mind. And each time they are faced with it,
They will know how to withdraw.
they will know how to defend themselves. Because they have been first of all been taught about it by their parents. That is spiritual. Each time they meet gangsters, they will remember that the father told them that stealing is very bad, smoking is very bad, drugging is very bad. They will understand. That's why the father has a role to play.
So that's how it grows.
That's how it grows. It grows over and over. So in this light, the spiritual is very, very important. Communing with your children is very, very important. Tell them things before they face them. For instance, there is something like sex education.
Yes.
A father must explain to that child the consequence of it.
And you talk about sex education. This is a topic parents run away
Yeah.
from.
You're not supposed to run away from it. Once you see a child start coming up, let's say a boy child.
Yes, boy child.
Once you see him start asking some questions of behaving type, or a particular age, sit him down, put the Bible down, ask him, do you know that what is immorality? The child, if he explains or not, tell him that fornication or immorality is a sin. And tell him how God hates it. When you tell him, that's the spiritual part of it. Also tell him that when you commit immorality, you lose focus.
You attract sickness.
Yeah, you maybe contract an illness. If the girl is pregnant, you may be arrested.
Yes.
That's a physical. So you show him the consequences of immorality. Let him sink it over and over. Let him write it, place it on the doorpost. Every time he talks it.
And the parents, especially African parents, they don't want to discuss sex education.
No,
with their children.
They're making a mistake also. It's a big mistake. Now you don't want to discuss sex education with your children. When they fall into it, is that when you will discuss it?
That's when they start harassing them, beating them up, torturing them, arresting them.
No. We are saying that parents should discuss these issues with their children, especially not only the boy child, but the girl child also. It's supposed to be taught this topic.
True.
Are we there? Yeah. So when these children, now we're talking, before we dive into this sex education, we're saying that we're looking at the spiritual part.
Yes.
Of grooming this boy child. We say that this boy child has to walk in love. He has to be taught how to walk in love. So much so that while growing up, he will learn to build relationships.
Yes, and keep them.
Keep these relationships. Because this relationship may help him tomorrow.
True.
It may help him, maybe implant him in his, help him in acquiring his vision. They must be well disciplined.
Wow.
Well disciplined.
That's very important.
Yes. Taught how to walk in excellence. They must be excellent in whatever thing they do. Do it perfectly.
Perfection.
Perfection. They must be perfect. They must learn to establish peace wherever they find themselves. They must do that. These children also establishing peace. They must be patient.
Yes.
They must know that patience
with people.
Yeah, it's an aspect of life. So much so that if maybe he needs something, and he does not give himself time to wait for that thing, he heads over it. There may be a negative consequence. So it explains to this child that you need to be very, very patient in life.
And he will never forget that.
Yeah. This child must also work hard. Tell him that, boy, you know what? You must work hard as a man. Don't be lazy. It's true. The Bible says, no food for lazy man. It's true. This child must be taught how to work hard. Each time he's doing something, buy him, tell him like this. Always teach him to be fast, smart. Work hard.
You know, there are some parents, when you talk about working hard, there are some parents who used to see them, they'll be like telling their children, if the child comes and says, I want money for tour, and they're like, they give them tasks, you know, that you don't get something for free. You do a task, let's say washing clothes for your dad, or the dad will say, you brush my shoes consistently, then I will give you what you want.
Yeah, it's true.
Or when they go to the farm, they will say, if you dig well, you work from here to here, you will get what you want. Who works hard will get what they want.
That's it. Also, these children have to be taught, they have to be taught on how to be accountable.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like for my boys, sometimes I give them money. When I give you money, after a while I will call and ask, how do you spend your money? How do you spend your money? Why am I doing so? I'm teaching them financial management.
Yes.
So that each time you have your money, I'll say, okay, when you have this money, you try to save this part, eat this part. Don't consume all your money.
True.
Why am I doing that? I'm doing that because when the child will grow up to be a man,
he will have it at the back of his mind.
At the back of his mind.
True.
That when I receive my income, I will not squander it. I will always save part of it. I will know how to manage it. That's being accountable. First to himself, and maybe to others.
Yes.
So that is it.
Correct. And talking of accountability, you know, it's not only about finances, or telling your child that you know if you get this, if you're given a meal and you can't finish it, don't throw it away, keep it and eat it later, something like that. But I think also in the mistakes that they do as children, they should be held accountable to them, so they will learn. What do you say about that?
Yeah, the mistake that they do as children.
Yes.
Sit them down, explain things to them. Don't be shy. Don't be so hard.
Do you know some parents, when another child comes to report that your child beat me or did something or abused me, and the parent will not hold this child accountable, rather will encourage this child that tomorrow beat him harder.
No, that's bad. That's bad.
And what happens? These are the people they send to us to be our husbands, to be,
Now you are training that child to be arrogant. It's not a negative. You are training him to be arrogant. It's not being accountable. This child is not honest.
True.
You're not leading him in a good way. No. Rather, you are killing the child. Not blessing the child, but you are cursing this child.
Indirectly.
Indirectly without knowing.
As if you will live forever.
How can you live forever? You cannot live forever. So these are the things we're talking about, Amazon. We must look at it in the physical direction and
the spiritual.
Yeah.
As you talked about physical and spiritual, I want to ask you about, I believe emotional connection is important. You people, you parents, you African, you parents generally, I would say, you teach your boys that boys don't cry, boys don't get hurt, boys. Do you know? To me, I think we have boys or men today who are emotionally detached or distant because of how I used to see even at home. There's a boy cries and they say, boys don't cry.
Pamper them.
Yeah, no, a boy doesn't cry. So even if something hurt him, he's supposed to swallow it. You understand? So and when they fight with him, let's say kids fight and the boy comes crying, and a boy child will come and a girl child will come. A girl child will be told, oh, sorry, I'll go and beat this person. But the boy child will be told, boys don't cry. Yeah? Boys don't cry. Boys are strong. Don't you think those kind of statements, not allowing this child to show emotional, connection with situations, make them harder? Their hearts develop so hard that they do something and they don't feel any emotional attachment.
Also, what you are saying is true, but we have to also look at it in this direction. Yeah, the children, we can allow them to cry, to air out. But I think the
But
parent,
for boys are not allowed.
yeah, I think the parent telling the child that boys don't cry is helping that boy is making him know that he's a man. Let him stand and face.
So men don't have emotions?
They have emotions.
No,
Rather,
that's what you're trying to say.
No, they have emotions, but now I want to understand that the parent is training this child to always stand and face circumstance, to be courageous. It's not every time little thing you shed tears. No, you have to be a man. That's what the parent is saying. Face that circumstance.
But do you know, on that same note, that because a boy child grows up, you remember what you said, that what is impacted into this child, the child grows up with those values and those teachings at the back of his mind.
Yeah.
Now, when this child is growing and he has been told that boys don't cry, boys are strong, even if you go through what, you are a man, you are strong, you're strong. Do you know that we have lost many of them to depression? We have lost many of them to drug addiction because they feel they are not allowed to be vulnerable.
Yeah, but I'm not thinking that we have lost most of them, but somehow I'm not against that parent. Do you know what? Let's look at the lion. The lion is a king of the jungle.
Yes.
We agree?
Yes.
Now, it does not mean that the lion is the most powerful animal
in the jungle, in the forest.
In the forest, or the most intelligent.
Mm.
But the lion is so peculiar in its characteristic.
Mm.
The lion is persistent. It's so tactful.
Mm.
It does not surrender. It's not the most powerful, as we agree.
Yes.
But the lion is persistent. It's very tactful. And as a man needs to be very, very persistent.
True. Accepted. A man needs to be persistent. But our also, when I look at on that same point, as I'm trying to explain about emotional connection.
Yeah.
You know, these boys, let's say they're in a violent relationship.
Yeah.
Do you know that ladies run and they are hard, and a man will soak it and soak it and soak it, and every day he will go to a bar junction, a bar joint where they meet, and he starts drowning into alcohol. He starts drowning into, because he has fear that as a man he's not supposed to speak. He's supposed to be strong. So don't you think that expression should be taught to the children from a young age, that when you feel something is not right, you need to express it, say it, speak.
For For sure, they have to express their mind. It's true. These boy children have to be allowed to talk, to express what is paining. So to air out what is paining them. But it doesn't mean that at any time a man will retreat.
True, I agree.
Yeah. So these boy children, they have to be taught. You now come back to communication.
Exactly. Yes.
You now come back to
Should
communication.
listen to them too.
Yeah. Always listen to these children. Discuss with them. Maybe he had a bad day. You will know what to tell this child. Maybe he had a good day. You will know how to encourage him. So we come back to communication. But these boy children should be taught on how to face their circumstances. They should be persistent in all that they do. They should be persistent. That's what makes a man. If not, in your home, any little thing that comes up, you'll be shedding tears. And one time, you hear that a man has divorced his home. What makes you a leader? A leader has to stand and face his circumstance.
So it's like the shield.
Yeah. It's not every time a man will be crying in front of the children, crying in front of the wife. No. There are some things that you retreat and you face it. And that's what the lion does. The lion does not surrender. The lion, it doesn't. It does not surrender. It will persist till the end. So that's how a man is supposed to be. A man is supposed to be, a boy child is supposed to be trained to be a leader.
To agree with you.
Yeah, he's supposed to be trained to be a leader. He has to face his circumstances, face society.
On that same note, that because a boy child grows up, you remember what you say, that what is impacted into this child, the child grows up with those values and those teachings at the back of his mind.
Yeah.
Now, when this child is growing and he has been told that boys don't cry, boys are strong, even if you go through what, you are a man, you are strong, you're strong. Do you know that we have lost many of them to depression? We have lost many of them to drug addiction because they feel they are not allowed to be vulnerable.
Yeah, but also I'm not thinking that we have lost most of them, but somehow I'm not against that parent. Do you know what? Let's look at the lion. The lion is a king of the jungle.
Yes.
We agree?
Yes.
Now, it does not mean that the lion is the most powerful animal
in the jungle, in the forest.
In the forest, or the most intelligent. But the lion is so peculiar in its characteristic. The lion is persistent. It's so tactful. It does not surrender. It's not the most powerful, as we agree.
Yes.
But the lion is persistent. It's very tactful. And as a man needs to be very, very persistent.
True. Accepted. A man needs to be persistent. But our also, when I look at on that same point, as I'm trying to explain about emotional connection. You know, these boys, let's say they're in a violent relationship. Do you know that ladies run and they are hard, and a man will soak it and soak it and soak it, and every day he will go to a bar junction, a bar joint where they meet, and he starts drowning into alcohol. He starts drowning into, because he has fear that as a man he's not supposed to speak. He's supposed to be strong. So don't you think that expression should be taught to the children from a young age, that when you feel something is not right, you need to express it, say it, speak.
For sure, they have to express their mind. It's true. These boy children have to be allowed to talk, to express what is paining, to air out what is paining them. But it doesn't mean that at any time a man will retreat.
True, I agree.
Yeah, so these boy children, they have to be taught I mean, we now come back to communication.
Exactly. Yes.
We now come back to
Should
communication.
listen to them too.
Yeah, always listen to these children. Discuss with them. Maybe he had a bad day. You will know what to tell this child. Maybe he had a good day. You will know how to encourage him. So we come back to communication. But these boy children should be taught on how to face their circumstances. They should be persistent in all that they do. They should be persistent. That's what makes a man. If not, in your home, any little thing that comes up, you'll be shedding tears. And one time, you hear that a man has divorced his home. What makes you a leader? A leader has to stand and face his circumstance.
So it's like the shield.
Yeah. It's not every time man will be crying in front of the children, crying in front of the wife. No. There are some things that you retreat and you face it. And that's what the lion does. The lion does not surrender. The lion, it doesn't. It does not surrender. It will persist till the end. So that's how a man is supposed to be. A man is supposed to be, a boy child is supposed to be trained to be a leader.
To agree with you.
Yeah, he's supposed to be trained to be a leader. He has to face his circumstances, face society. He has to walk every time in victory. He has to dominate. Know how to dominate.
Yes.
His neighborhood.
His territory.
Yeah, it's territory. Not every time shedding tears, and maybe your wife maybe said one thing, you go behind the house and you're shedding tears. Then where is that man?
No, it's not like every time, but it's like expressing their emotions, because they're also human beings.
Yeah.
You're a man, you're a human being.
Yeah.
So you go through situations, and speaking is one of the ways of getting healed.
Yeah.
Then when you observe and observe and observe, you go into depression.
Yeah. Also, let me cut it short. We were talking when these children were young.
Yes.
The parents have communication with them. They commune with these children. Now, when they reach a certain age, they're mature now. They start living on their own. When they start living on their own now, they now have to work in what? They have to be persistent. Now, being persistent doesn't mean that you go back and be shedding tears. No. You were shedding tears when you were a baby. They were bringing you up. You always shed tears. Your father was saying, no, like this. Boy, don't cry. Like this. This is how we do it. You'll be growing. When now become a man, no time to shed tears again. You face it like a lion. The lion does not shed tears.
True. The
lion will grip an elephant, and you will think that the lion has died. He will be there until that's how a man is supposed to stand. If not, you're not the shield of that family. You're not trained to shield your family, to protect that family. You're not trained to generate an income. Because in generating an income for your family, you meet so many things along the way. In your job site, you meet challenges. In your surroundings, you meet challenges. As a man, you have to face these challenges. Why? Because you are grown up in a good way. You knew these things.
So what other way would you advise parents to groom these children? We heard about communication and the spirituality and love, bringing them in love and togetherness. And what did you say again?
They must also know how to maintain peace.
Peace, yes. You mentioned
among
peace.
Themselves. These children must be
and
faithful.
Accountability.
They must be faithful. They must be brought up in honesty. They must learn how to speak the truth. Because if man does not speak the truth in society, he's a corpse. So
it means that the parents should carry that value as well.
They have to carry that value as well. They have to carry the value. Because if I'm not truthful to myself, how would I tell my son to
be truthful? True.
It can't work. It starts from me.
True.
So that's how it goes.
So, what advice would you give to the parents, the young parents? Do you, if you notice right now, the world is full of youths, like from 30 and above, 30, 35, 40, and now they are the parents today. Yeah. That someone is 28 and already has like 2 or 3 children. By the time 35, someone has 3 or 2 or 1 child. So that is the generation I'm talking about, our generation. Yeah. What advice would you give us to bring out a better generation? Because as I see, I think we as a generation ourselves, we are a mess. So how do we bring out our children exceptionally well?
We have to monitor these children. Monitor them. That's the very first thing. Spend time with these children.
Nowadays we don't have time for spending with children.
That's what I'm saying, as a
in
parent.
office, working abroad and stuff like that.
Even if you travel abroad, the world is so, I mean, their phone, you make phone calls every time. Boy, how are you today?
How was school?
What do you eat today? You talk with this child. Today, please, boy, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. Explain what life is all about to this child.
So, communication.
Let this child be your friend. There should be a good relationship.
But now we are parents who go to clubs and leave children sleeping, and we come back at we come back at 5 in the morning. This is the generation I'm talking about.
As a parent, if I go to club, my son also go to club. You grow
and
up.
we expect them to be better.
He cannot be better. My son will always follow my footsteps.
True.
So if I'm going to club, for sure my son will also go to club. So I cannot be going to club and I tell my son don't go to club. He will not work that way also. So you start from me.
Yeah, correct.
If I'm wrong, my son will be wrong. If I don't give him, if I don't implant values in him, or if I don't implant values in myself, I won't be able to implant values
in
him.
Correct.
That's what we're saying. So I must have communication with this son. Talk with him. See his difficulties, his challenges. It does not end there.
Okay.
It doesn't end there. This child, maybe I want this child to become a medical doctor. It's not always, I'll not always allow him to study medicine. No. I will train him in such a way that while he's studying his medicine, he's generating some income for himself. Outside. He can be taught maybe another trade. Maybe baking.
Yes.
Maybe some management things. He can maybe bake some cakes around, sell around, have some money for himself, have some pocket allowance.
Or do any vocational
thing while pursuing his career.
Yes.
So that's what we need to do as parents. We must make these children to understand that it's not good to live in fear.
True.
They must be very, very courageous. We have to always tell them to take the example of the lion. Be very, very courageous. When they are courageous, all the studies that they acquired, maybe in the primary, in the secondary, university, they will now act on it. But if they are not courageous, whatever they studied at the university
will go in vain.
They'll go in vain. They'll come back and lie on it.
Yeah, some of them, someone has a degree in medicine or what, and it's like, I don't have a job in the hospital, I'm not going to work.
You see? Because he's afraid of the society.
And we end up having thugs.
Yeah. He cannot take action. He lives in fear. He cannot take action. Maybe he's afraid that, what will people say? Maybe I start this project and I fail. He cannot even stand and present himself.
That's one thing.
It's a problem.
That's another topic for another day. This thing of what will people say is really consuming people.
Yeah. Because of fear.
Mm.
Fear. When fear is there, there's no faith.
Correct.
There's no faith. And that's where failure comes in. Irrespective of all the education you acquired at the primary, secondary, or university level, all the education it comes to you acquire in vain. So that's what we're talking about.
So as we wind up, any advice for the parents out there? We want the parents. I would really love to be that parent who sits down and asks itself that what kind of husband do I want? What kind of man do I want in my life? So that is exactly what I will prepare my son to be and release him to the world. Because we don't want you parents to just not to care about these boys and send them to people's daughters tomorrow, because the girl child is well prepared from childhood, like I said when I was introducing that we as girl children, we are always taught, like, prepared of our own responsibilities at a tender age. So by the time you're a woman, you know what to do. So I would want you to advise the parents, the father figures. Some of them run away from their responsibilities and they just leave the mother alone. And you know there are parts that a father plays in the life of a boy child, especially because there is no like they say that you destroy one woman, you destroy a generation, but there is no generation without a man. There is no procreation without a man. So as at the end of the day, a man plays a vital role in society. So what advice do you give to us parents? Because now we are the parents, you know? Parents today, to build up boys, boy children into better people that they'll release outside there.
I'm saying that I'm talking to every parent to rise up and take up his responsibility and mentor these children. Take up your responsibility, mentor these boy children, follow them up, see what they're doing, look at their friends, know their friends, know their peers. It does not only end there. Bring these children closer to God. Bring them to have a personal relationship with God. When these children have a personal relationship with God,
everything is easy.
It becomes so easy. They're connected to their maker.
True.
They will learn to, they'll be impacted wisdom. Wisdom will be impacted in them. God will start speaking to these children, directing them. They'll not live a wayward life. So that's why I'm talking to parents. That they should rise up, take up their responsibility, monitor these children physically and spiritually. It will do a lot.
True.
And he will grow up to be that model that you want him to be. And everybody will appreciate. Even girls will say, I like to get married to this one. I like but this one. They will choose him.
Bring up your sons the way you want your sons-in-law to be. Right?
Not him moving around. No. He will sell. He will sell. I mean, he will stand on the market.
Especially when he's the only child in a family of 6. He's pampered like a small god.
He'll be a source of attraction. So parents should know this. the physical part should not be left out.
Yes.
No, the spiritual part being left out. No.
Yes.
No.
They move together.
They move together.
Mm.
They move together. Because if you take only the physical part and you forget about the spiritual, yes, the education he has acquired is good, but it needs action.
Mm.
So the child will remain maybe halfway without accomplishing his mission. So that's what every parent needs to take note.
Mm.
The physical and the spiritual.
And what words of advice do you have for the boy children out there?
I'm saying that every boy child has to listen to his parents. Every boy child has to listen to your parents. If you don't listen to your parents, you may become wayward. You may be influenced from outside.
Mm. And that's danger.
Yeah.
Mm.
Your father telling you something shows that he loves you. He loves you.
And some of them think there are too many in the house.
Yeah.
They don't want to listen.
I'm also saying that word. In as long as the parent will discipline you, this boy child succumb to that discipline.
Mm.
Don't take it as if your father hates you. No. He loves you.
Correct. It reminds me of a scripture in the Bible which says that God punishes us like a father punishes the child whom he loves, whom he delights in.
Yeah.
Mm.
Discipline is good. It corrects you. It raises you up. It impacts you. This discipline makes you to become who you ought to be.
Correct.
It's out of love. But don't discipline a child by killing the child. No.
By bringing a pan.
Bringing maybe a colors that's even crazy.
Maybe these boys also, when they become youthful, they think they have to, the food they eat makes them feel like they are superpowers. So as the father is talking, he's also talking. It's like we are too many in the house, yet you cannot have two lions.
That would also be a mistake. Maybe the father was so arrogant. The father should look for a means and let this boy know that the father displaying him is out of love. It's because he loves him. And the son will never speak when the father is talking. If the son does that,
repeat that.
The son will never speak when the father is talking. If he does that, he has violated the spiritual law and the physical law.
Disrespect to the highest degree.
Yeah. It should never.
So I want you to tell those boy children out there that what age parental discipline has no age limit, right?
Yeah. We are saying that parental discipline has no age limit. No age limit. In as long as you are a parent, please monitor your children.
Correct.
From childhood
to
adulthood. Follow them up. Develop a personal relationship with them. Be friendly to them.
So they can tell you how the world is treating them.
Yeah, maybe they have some secrets in them. They release those secrets.
And you advise them.
You both talk like friends. And you talk like an elder and a junior one. You talk like that. And you'll see how your family will be flourishing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Indeed, those are words of wisdom.
Amen.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
We will not go further more, but we will just say that those who have ears do what? A word is enough for the wise.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Those are African proverbs. A word is enough for the wise. I believe you have learned something. I believe really you have gotten something. At least get one word. Hold on to that. Get one advice. Hold on to it. As a parent, as a child. We are talking about the grooming of the boy child. So, what have you learned? What lessons have you taken out of what we have talked about, what Mr. Jonathan has shared with us? I believe you can take a word or two. So thank you, Mr. Jonathan. It's always a pleasure having you on Amuso Real Talk. We are so much humbled. So it's been me, Amuso Eunice. Thank you once again for your love. Thank you for supporting. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, like, share, and comment. Send us an email at amusorealtalk@gmail.com if you'd like to say anything or share a story with us. We always tell you that you are not alone. We inspire you at the comfort of your phone. Real life experiences, parental advices, education, and empowering each other and mentorship. That's what Amuso Real Talk is all about. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you to the team behind Amuso Real Talk. We salute you. From me to you, may the good Lord bless you. Shalom.